Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media. The Bishop City Council's concerns that short-term rentals, commonly referred to as Airbnbs, could impact the city's housing shortage, take business away from area motels and hotels, and turn peaceful neighborhoods into party central, seem to be assuaged following a presentation by planning staff at Monday's meeting of the Bishop City Council. Now, after hearing additional research on how other rural communities regulate Airbnbs by planning associate Elaine Cabala and public comments from Owens Valley residents currently renting bedrooms in their homes to visitors, the City Council directed staff to come up with an ordinance for the May 22nd meeting. Now, a few things became clear following public comment. Airbnb users are looking for an experience they would not necessarily get staying in a motel. They also tend to spend more time and more money at their destinations and rental properties, and renters are meticulously reviewed. No real negative comments were expressed, just the need for some regulation, a specific permitting process, and the payment of transient occupancy taxes. Cabala's research turned up a recurring theme from Big Bear, Moab, Utah, and Bend, Oregon. Different regulations depending on R1 residential or mixed-use commercial zones. Business licenses, special permits, and TOT payments are all required. Exterior and interior signage with owner contact information, occupancy caps, and concentration limits in residential zones, and those elements can constitute a smorgasbord of possible ordinance elements for Bishop. Now, the only real debate was the concept of owner-occupied in R1 zones that would basically limit rentals to bedrooms in the owner's residence as opposed to a detached guest house on the same lot. Now, the potential ordinance still has a way to go. Bishop Mayor Joe Pexy felt the city needed more public input. The ordinance would go to the Planning Commission following the May 22nd meeting. And the City of Bishop will be hosting a community workshop Wednesday, May 3rd, 6:30 p.m. at the Home Ec building at the Tri-County Fairgrounds. Workshop will focus on gathering public input and ideas for revitalizing downtown Bishop, increasing housing options, and streamlining the municipal code to incentivize commercial activity. Now, the workshop is being funded through an Environmental Protection Agency Sustainable Communities grant the City of Bishop was awarded in late 2016. Now, the input from the workshop will inform a action-oriented plan that will provide the city with specific strategies to fulfill the goals established in the 2015 general plan, economic development element update, as well as an inventory of potential funding resources to implement those actions. The plan will be prepared based directly on input received at the workshop, according to a press release from the City of Bishop. More information, you can contact Elaine Cabala, 760-873-8458. Well, Manzanar National Historic Site inviting visitors to participate in a series of special events this weekend in conjunction with the Manzanar Committee's 48th annual pilgrimage. All are welcome and the events are free. This year's pilgrimage coincides with the 75th anniversary of President Franklin D. Roosevelt signing an Executive Order 9066, ultimately authorizing the U.S. Army to forcibly remove and incarcerate all Japanese Americans and Japanese immigrants in California, Western Oregon, and Washington, as well as Southern Arizona. The government press release from Manzanar notes incarcerated more than 11,000 men, women, and children in Manzanar. Sure also marks the 25th anniversary of Congress's establishment of Manzanar National Historic Site. It was the result of decades of grassroots efforts by the Manzanar Committee beginning on a cold winter day in 1969, an event now considered the first Manzanar pilgrimage. Pilgrimage Weekend 2017 begins this Friday. Public reception hosted by Friends of the Eastern California Museum. The Manzanar Committee's 48th annual pilgrimage ceremony begins at noon Saturday at the Manzanar Cemetery. UCLA Kyoto Taiko drummers will kick off the event at 11:30 a.m., followed by the procession of camp banners at noon. The pilgrimage program concludes with the traditional interfaith service and Ondo dancing, after which park rangers will offer walking tours to those who wish to explore Manzanar. More information, call Manzanar National Historic Site, 760-878-2194, extension 3310, or you can visit the website, nps.gov/mans. Full press release is posted on sierrawave.net. All right, back to Fishmas. Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave. Deb writes, line up the fishing seasons from 2012 to 2017, and it's pretty obvious which one does not look like the others. It's this year. Anglers will be wallowing in water through the season, enjoying lakes that haven't been lakes for several years, perhaps having issues in late May or June with creeks running too high. Deb writes, sort of a Daytona Speedway of trout, rather than the concern of depleted creeks unstockable due to water temperatures. Now, while some high country fisheries are still not accessible, ice fishing with feet of snow still sitting on top of that ice isn't going to happen this weekend. Still plenty of the traditional hot spots will be open, as we noted earlier in the broadcast. Now, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power has been keeping Crowley Lake low to save space for the High Sierra runoff later in the spring and summer, but staff has indicated that won't impact fishing or boat launches. Think about that. Crowley has been low through the drought years for lack of water. Lake level is similar for this opener for the exact opposite reason. Also, Deb Murphy checked in with Reagan Slee, Reagan Sporting Goods, to get his take on conditioners for the general trout opener.
What's going to be different this year versus the last 4 years with the drought and a little less water? Number one, all the lakes are going to be full, so it's going to be awesome fishing. So all the lakes are going to be full. It's going to be a little bit later summer, so with lakes being frozen early season, it means that's going to be a longer season. September, November are going to be great fishing this year. The streams are going to be really good early season this year because the runoff is going to be slower, but once June hits, there's going to be a really huge runoff with lots of water, so it's going to be hard to fish the streams. But the plus side is all the lakes are full where they haven't been full for 4 years, and there's going to be a lot of fishing. You're not going to see much difference in behaviors in the lake fish. Okay. Stream fishing, like I said, early season, you're going to be able to fish them because the water flows aren't too terrible, but once the real runoff starts, once we start getting those 80-90 degree temperatures consistent, then you're going to see the streams start to really pick up, and then the fish, they're just harder to target. They're still in the water, and they're just in smaller little pockets, little slow eddies and stuff like that.
For people that are coming up for opening and want to fish the river, or the lower Owens,
they'll be able to fish the lower Owens. There's a lot of bass fishing opportunities all over the river right now, because the river's so full. All the old oxbows and everything are all full. The backwaters, we call them, are all full with more warm water versus trout.
And Pat Yeager of Eastern Sierra Guide Service has been on the water the last few weeks, provided some insight from a fly fisherman's viewpoint. With relatively warm temperatures predicted for the weekend, waterways will swell and be off color as the day goes on. That's okay, Yeager says, because fish need to eat, and as the day goes on, there is more edible stuff in the water. Might want to find water that is slower when the water is cold. Yeager's first fly would be big, ugly, and heavy for the first fly choice. Skip lunch. Fish will be on the hunt at the warmest time of the day. Also, use your imagination. The angler that dares to be different wins. Be safe and don't leave your wingman. Thank Deb Murphy for that report. We'll be back with a weather report.